Hi guys, Jared here at Day Traders FX. Hopefully you guys are having a great week. Again, best wishes to all those on the East Coast. I know that there's some bad weather out there, and I've heard some pretty crazy reports. So again, best wishes to everybody out there. Okay, quick look at the market. Speaking of the East Coast, our typical site that we look at a lot of stuff on, Market Watch, you can see is just down and out. So, which is not too surprising. The stock market's been closed for the last 2 days. Monday, Tuesday, it's been closed for the weather, and it's just been kind of a tough time for everyone. So, markets have been a little bit. They've moved a little bit. They've been a little bit choppy. We'll talk a little bit about. What we're going to be looking at there. Draghi spoke in the last several hours. We had the Bank of Japan where we saw some big movement. 1 o'clock, you can see 1 a.m. There was some pretty big activity on the yen pairs. We're going to look at that. Pretty good Italian bond auction. Everything went pretty good there. Then we have some Australian news coming up. Tomorrow, we don't have anything too significant for the UK news. We just have the Canadian GDP and manufacturing PMI out of China. Okay, let's get right down to it. Euro dollar, here were our levels and trade details from yesterday. So in the daily video yesterday, we talked about 128.85. You can see that that held very nicely. And then I posted an additional trade for the members at a buy above this resistance right here at 129.20 area. And that ended up going very nicely. We grabbed some good pips on that breakout up. So everything worked out really nice there. What we have coming up here is we've got some nice little setups on this euro dollar, and it's kind of a question mark here. You can see on this 4-hour chart that so far, we had this big rally and everything bounced off of the daily and 4-hour 200-day moving average, and then they've all just kind of come back. From this little move just a little bit, and we've ended up with a nice little reversal candle on this 4-hour chart. So we have a nice pin bar, and it makes it, there's kind of a big question mark of what is going to happen here. This is a pretty typical reversal kind of pattern, and so we can take the option of trading against that high, which as you can see is about 120. It's about 129.80, 80, 85 right in that general area. So we can trade against that high, and it's also bouncing nicely off the 200-day moving average on the 1-hour chart. We may be able to get some retracement back down into this 129 20-ish area where there seems to be some pretty good support. So it's kind of what I'm looking at right now, is just trading against this high. You can see that we're currently about 23, 24 pips off of that. So that's going to be something that we can keep an eye on. But likewise, the break of that high. So when we get above this level, that's also going to confirm much more upside. So look for the break of 129.85 area, but also we can trade against that once again and look for some retracement down into this 129.20 area. So daily chart, big bounce off of that 200-day moving average, and everything's kind of hanging in there, but it is still out of the channel. But it is also holding above the 128 kind of 30 area, which has been a strong support. So I don't really know what I think a ton about the longer term movement, but I definitely think on the short term side of things, we've got 129. 85 on the top, and then some retracement against that level. So we'll be looking for some of that and see where that goes. Okay, and on to the next one here. We've got a couple of things happening on some of these other pairs, namely pound dollar made a little bit of a run. Not super interested in that one yet. Euro yen has done some pretty crazy things, and we have a couple of important reversal candles in the works here. Right here, we saw that we had a nice big bounce off of this low area and low level of this ascending trend line from the daily chart. And so we're going to be looking at this and kind of watching that. That's looking like a pretty big reversal candle on this daily chart so far. And we should be able to see some bullish movement continue up out of this one. So we're going to keep an eye on that. You can see that the 4-hour chart, big reversal off of that ascending trend line. Very nice move. But likewise, we've also had some pretty tough times with this area right here. So this was the Bank of Japan news, more easing, more, as they call it, QE9 or QE13 or whatever it is now at this point. So some pretty nice movement off of that. A break above 103.40 gets this pair pretty bullish again. It gets it above a lot of the ugly congestion and above this high right here, which I think will be important. So we're going to be looking for that. And we're going to be seeing if we can get some trades to go long above 103.40. Likewise, it's going to be, like I said, a little bit of a toughie here, but we start to get below this area as well, which is around the 102.20 or so area, and that starts to get pretty interesting for some short entries. So we're going to be looking at that and kind of watching that short-term channel. So it's about 103.40 and about 102.20. We have about 120 pips from top to bottom of this little range that hopefully will give us some nice movement. So keep an eye on that. Aussie dollar has done something interesting here. The Aussie dollar has kind of been chopping around, not doing too much exciting stuff for the moment. But you can see that we have on this daily chart, we've got a nice little kind of wedge that's in the works here. And then we also have, on this Aussie dollar here, we also have very nice reversal candle right here. And so that high is just below 10400. It's about 103, as you can see there, about 103.90, 97, 98, right around there. So if we stay below that, I like opportunities to short this pair and take it back down. But above 10400, which it's currently sitting at about 103, almost 70, so it's not too far away from that. Above 10400, I think we have a lot of upside potential to the Aussie dollar, and this thing really starts to pick up some trend at that point. And move into some big positive territory. So again, above 10400 looks pretty good, and below, I think we can trade against that level. Let's look for some slightly higher retracement, see if we can get up there just a little bit more. We took some nice pips out of the Aussie dollar this week already, and we'll see if we can get a little bit closer to that high and maybe trade against that and see if that's going to be able to hold. But definitely a break above that is going to be, should be anyways, a very nice run to the upside there. Gold is running nicely. Good reversal candle here on the 1 hour. I think we have it pretty similarly on well, we don't quite have it on the 4 hour chart, but definitely the 1 hour has held in nicely of about 24 hours ago. But we've got a nice ascending trend line here. If we start breaking down on gold, that definitely starts to make me a little more bullish on dollar pairs. So we're just going to keep an eye on that. And then a quick look at the Aussie yen, same kind of thing, lots of movement, big reversal candles all over the place, lots of chop from the news. But let's just keep our eye on some possible upside. We're back up above this 82.70, 82.50 even, and on our way into the 82.70 area, which is kind of above the main consolidation of the last couple of days. And I think that should be some good movement there. So I think we've got some good opportunities across several of these pairs. I'm looking forward to some nice entries. More details will be coming on Twitter, so make sure to follow me, twitter.com/daytradersfx, and we'll have some more details coming up there. Thanks a bunch, everyone, and we'll see you in the chat.